For 1 year. He has joined Toastmasters in order to improve his speaking skills and meet new people. Today, Kyle will be giving his 7th speech, Research Your Topic, from the Competent Communicator Manual. The title of his 5 to 7 minute speech is Behind the Times. Welcome, Kyle.
Thank you, Wah. Behind the Times. You may have heard of Moore's Law. Who has heard of Moore's Law? Okay, and for those of you that don't know, Moore's Law was created by Gordon Moore, who in April of 1965 wrote in Electronics magazine. Gordon Moore being at the time employed by Fairchild Semiconductor in the Research and Development Department. Fairchild Semiconductor, a lot of the people that worked there ended up founding Intel, and Gordon Moore was one of those people who co-founded Intel. And in that article, he talked about the exponential growth of semiconductor chips in their size and capability of processing information. And he said that every 2 years that the performance and capacity would double. Now, doubling growth in 1965 is kind of like going from 2 to 4. Doubling growth today might be going from 3 billion to 6 billion. There's kind of like compounding interest there, right? So you might go from a giant, computer or processor back then to a less giant processor, where today we're going, at a pretty crazy pace. So I'm getting older. I'm in my mid-30s. I just had a birthday. And at least for me, when it comes to innovative technology, this could be a topic for next week as well when we talk about technology. Today we're talking about innovation. That applies as well. I'm in my mid-30s, and I think, rather than the 30s being the new 20s or the 40s being, the new 20s or whatever, I think, for me at least, I feel like the 30s are like the new 60s for me, because I feel like I'm a grandpa when it comes to technology sometimes, right? Technology has advanced so much when it comes to phones, iPads, apps, GPS. I even, my dad taught me to use the Thomas Guide, and we don't even use that anymore. So I used to be the young one, but actually maybe not in my mind, because the reason is because I used to really embrace the fact of getting by without technology, and I think I liked it so much because it would actually kind of save me money. When I was in my 20s, I took my wife out for a first date, and I drove up in a Toyota Celica, and we call that the White Turtle. And I thought I was really cool, and I drive up, and I open the door for my wife, and inside there's a portable CD player, because I only had a tape deck in my Celica. And it's got all these, cords and cables and everything going in there, and she almost stopped the date right. She tells me later, she almost, stopped the date right there and said, I don't think so. This isn't going to work. But I thought, hey, look, I made this happen here. I got my CD player. So I had a little misguided confidence back then. I held on to my standard definition television for forever, up until probably like 10 years ago. But at the time, everybody had their HD TVs, and I said, well, I have a TV that works. Why would I get one that's high definition? When I put it up for sale, though, it only ended up getting about $50. I said, whoa, I held on to that $50 really tight, I was one of the last holdouts for a cell phone. I thought, why would I want people to be able to reach me at all times? I want to be able to be free. And so I was one of the last people that actually got a cell phone. There was a time when people didn't have cell phones. And the smartphone. I went from a regular cell phone that didn't have apps to a smartphone way after everybody else. And I said, I've got a PC at home. Why would I need to use the internet on my phone? I go to work. I can use the internet at work. Why would I need the internet on my phone? And, I just wasn't very smart there. I wasn't keeping up with the times, and didn't realize that there were a lot of cool things you can do on your phone. With a Blu-ray player, I still haven't bought one of those, so either I'm cheap or I was ahead of the times knowing that that's going to go obsolete too. Can we be thrifty and keep up with modern technology? I don't know, maybe that could be a table topic for next week. I am still also embarrassed that I asked for checks for the Toastmasters dues in my first role as treasurer for the club. I should have realized that there are other modern ways of getting money transferred to people. And Mary Jane was one of those. She says, "Kyle, I don't know that I have my checkbook." I said, "Really? Oh, okay, yeah, maybe I should." And then I told this story to other people, and they said, "Kyle, don't you know about Venmo? Don't you know about cash?" And I said, what are those? I ended up using PayPal for a lot of the payments, and she says, "Well, that's a little bit of a step up, but you really should be using Venmo." I still have a Hotmail account. I get a lot of flack for that. Hotmail is just barely above AOL. I do have a Gmail account, and I think I need to start using that a little bit more. I heard a story, though, about our mission assurance director, one of our directors, who also gave me flack for being behind the times because she said, "Kyle, you don't know about all these things." And she said that as a company, we also need to work on that as well, basically getting with the times. She said that she had a story where there were people that were offered, college graduates were offered internships, engineers, and they offered 100 internships out, and they got no acceptances. I think that's really more of probably a marketing issue than anything, because we do some really cool things, and maybe we aren't marketing ourselves to this new generation as well as we could. And if we did market ourselves well, I bet we'd get a lot more acceptances. So that is my challenge to myself, I think to all of us at large as well, is to keep up with the times. Even a program such as Excel, I've been taught a lot of things. Well, actually I haven't learned them yet, but I've been shown a lot of things that Excel can do with Visual Basic, where you can actually code your own Excel program, within the foundation of Excel, and do a lot of cool things. So I thought I was an Excel expert, but I realized I actually am behind the times even with Excel, which is what I do every day. So my challenge to myself, my challenge to everybody at large, is to keep up with the times, don't be like me, and don't get left behind.